myhappydesires.com. Visit us at myhappydesires.com and add some toys to your toy box. Let your imagination be the guide to your stress relief. myhappydesires.com has everything for the perfect play night. Alone or not, you choose. Fuel your desires without breaking the bank. myhappydesires.com.
What's going on, everybody? It is Chris Akin, and it is time once again for Chris Akin Presents. And today I am going to not do my normal thing. I'm not going to talk about movies or TV or news or any of that kind of stuff. I'm just going to do a little countdown. I was thinking about this over the weekend, and I was, just kind of popping through YouTube music, playing different music, and I started thinking about replacement singers. And this is an old argument. Everybody has this argument all the time about who's the better singer, David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not going to do that because that's cheap pop, cheap clickbait bullshit. All right. What I am doing, though, is I thought about singers from metal bands, which immediately in my book eliminates Van Halen. But singers that have jumped into bands and made the band as strong or better than they were previously. And I stuck this only to metal because that's what I know the most. But I will tell you that you ain't going to agree with me on some of these. It's just that simple. So these are 5 replacement singers that I think made the band that they were in better when they were brought in. Now, there was a little bit of criteria for it. Like I said, they had to be metal bands, not rock bands, not Van Halen, not, those types of bands. So they had to be metal. And the other thing was that they had to have significant success prior to these singers coming in. So going lame and doing something like, well, it would be Rob Halford because he's better than Al Atkins. No. Or Phil Anselmo because he's better than Terry Glaze. No. That's not what this is. This is bands that already had significant, and then I think in each case with this band, well, all but one, they had their most success with the other singer. But I personally think that their music is better now with the new singer. So that is the criteria. So here it is. I'm just going to rip through these quickly. 5 singers that jumped into bands and made their bands musically better. And they're not in any specific order. They're just 5. So pick and choose what you want and tell me what you think is good or bad or crazy in the comments, okay? First one I'll name, Howard Jones, Killswitch Engage. Come on. Nothing against Jesse. Like Jesse, like the Killswitch Engage stuff with Jesse, both prior to Howard Jones and after Howard Jones. But Howard Jones made Killswitch Engage great. I mean, he's, of the 5 I'm going to list here, he's probably the one guy that actually made the band commercially better as well as musically better. The guy had way more range than Jesse. He's not as much of a screamer as Jesse. He uses his mid-tone as well as his screamy vocal, and he's just better. And I've liked everything that he's done since then. I love the Light the Torch or whatever it's called today. I know they've had name changes with that band, but like that stuff. So Killswitch Engage, Howard Jones would be the first one on my list. Number 2, and this is where you guys start scratching your heads, I'm sure. Corpse Grinder Fisher from Cannibal Corpse. I know everybody loves the early Cannibal Corpse stuff. I do as well. I mean, butchered at birth, eaten back to life. These are the legendary, the all-timers of Cannibal Corpse, of death metal. They're the all-time, they're the pole setters, so to speak. That said, everything that Corpse Grinder has done has been fantastic. He added a little more of a raw sound to it and a little less moody weirdness to it. Like, Chris Barnes always had that weird, moody, screamy thing going on. I never dug that, personally. Love Cannibal Corpse, but I just never dug when he did that. And Corpse Grinder's just a more which is what you want in death metal. You just want that sound. So he brings that every single time. Every record he's done has been really good. His solo record is fucking fantastic too, by the way. It just came out if you want to check something cool out. So Corpse Grinder in Cannibal Corpse is the second one I'm going to list. Number 3, Mark Tornillo of Accept. I'm an Accept fan. I've always been an Accept fan. I love Udo. I've interviewed Udo 433 times, I think, at this point. Big fan of Udo. Love UDO, to be honest. I think UDO is a great band. I think his work in Accept was great. I think Accept as a whole, though, was kind of dead at the time that he finally left the band for good. And Mark Tornillo really revived the band. His albums that he has done in the last, whatever it's been, decade or so, with Accept, have brought them all the way back to being a very relevant band once again, internationally. So, I mean, and you can't argue that those records are great. Blood of the Nations especially, that release is just fucking fantastic. So, number 3 on my list here is Mark Tornillo of Accept. Number 4, Andy Darris of Helloween. Now again, Helloween, there is no denying those early records, The Keeper of the Seven Keys 1 and 2, those are about as good of power metal as power metal has ever seen. They are just fucking awesome. So I'm not shitting on anybody here. I'm just not. I love Helloween. But I think Andy Darris stepped in and made the band much stronger, much more consistent. If you listen to the pre-Darris stuff, it does kind of ride the roller coaster a little bit. The post stuff is all at a certain level, at a great level, and he's consistently good. And the band has been consistently good since Andy joined the band. So, and to be honest, he took on an unbelievably difficult project by doing that Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 3, the Legacy release, and it fit nicely against 1 and 2. So, that all by itself, to try and do a follow-up to all-time classics is always difficult, and he pulled that off, and he always pulls it off with any of their albums. I'm a big fan of Helloween, and I think Andy Darris should be recognized as one of these guys that made his band better by joining the band. And then last but not least, and this is where everybody shakes their head and tells me I'm full of shit, but I don't care, Derrick Green of Sepultura. Sepultura, I've said this a million times, and I argue with Sepultura people all the time. Sepultura is better without Max Cavalera. They just are. And I think people have missed on the Derrick Green era. I think metal fans have missed a shit ton of impressively great releases. Just basically every release except the first one was great. The first one that they did with Derrick was not great. Against. That was just junk. And I'll openly admit that album was not very good. It was very clear that probably it was written for Max, and Derrick didn't quite fit, and they didn't know what to do, and they hadn't found their groove with Derrick yet. But after that, they did find it, and I'm telling you, if you haven't checked out Sepultura with Derrick Green, you are just missing, and especially the last, I keep saying especially the last, but when I think about it, it's like the last 20 years now. Records like XXI, or Dante XXI, or The Mediator, or Machine Messiah, or everything that they have done since like 2003 has been phenomenal. Not just good, but phenomenal. Really great heavy metal. If it wasn't called Sepultura, I think a lot of you would love it. But because it is, you guys are all like, it's not Max. It's not really Sepultura. It is. It's fantastic, and you should be listening to it. So the number one that I'm listing, not in order necessarily, but the number one would be Derrick Green, Sepultura. And that is my list of 5 singers that made their metal bands better by joining the band. So there you go. And that is going to do it for this episode of Chris Akin Presents. Make sure you do all the podcasty shit. Please like the post and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell and leave us a comment. Let us know that you're there. And like I said, that's going to do it for this episode of Chris Akin Presents. I have been Chris Akin, and guess what, folks? I will be again tomorrow. Peace.